Hi, wrestling fans. Thanks for clicking on the dreaded D-Rose Report. You know, I've got to ask you, did Undertaker eat a hot dog, you think, or maybe Cheetos before he came to the ring to confront Michaels last night? He had mustard or something all around his mouth and stuff. I think somebody would have told him something, of course. Anyway, and then his mustache and goatee looked like it'd been trimmed up real close because I think it probably got singed from the night before. And you know what really burns Undertaker's ass? I gotta tell you. F4W Online has previously reported that there's talk of having Shawn Michaels take responsibility for the pyrotechnic incident that happened at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. The incident is kind of a decision that was made prior to last night's Raw, but then the idea was kind of shot down ultimately. One of the key things in the decision-making was going to be based off of how the camera angles had caught the incident happening. If it came off impressive, the idea would have been to use it on TV, which, remember, they did that with Matt Hardy, or rather Jeff Hardy a while back, but they had the cameras stationed all around where it looked good. But, you know, if that stuff would have blew up under Undertaker's jacket and stuff and kind of hung in there, whew, he could have been in real bad shape. Undertaker had first and second degree burns on his chest and neck. Those within WWE consider him very lucky in having escaped with just the burns that he did have, as opposed to how badly it could have been. Despite the burns, Undertaker did work throughout the match in tremendous pain, though. And man, if you've seen the match, it was like cherry red on his chest. Probably even hurt more than tattoos. Anyway, he refused also to shorten the match inning. Anyway, the sleeve of his jacket and part of his hand, where the glove, he used them thick gloves, so anyway, it melted when the pyro went off prematurely, so probably have to get some new gloves. ABC affiliate in North Carolina reports that, back to Ric Flair, is recovering in the hospital following the alleged assault by his wife on Sunday that led to her arrest. No weapons were used in the attack on Sunday. The media reports that Flair suffered minor injuries but was refused treatment on Sunday, and when the police arrived, I guess. Flair. Hey, you know what to do, Flair? I got an idea. Why don't you just give up on women, man? They haven't been good for you. And go check out Orlando Jordan. He's having some parties over at his house, apparently. All right, Evan Bourne, he's going to be appearing at the Crystal Inn grounds at the E Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, on Saturday, March 6, 3 to 5 o'clock. Check him out if you're around that area. Ted DiBiase wrote this on his, or sent this out on his Twitter account after Raw regarding, Randy Orton deal. He says, "Stay tuned next week." He says, "I've had enough." And Chavo Guerrero, I haven't seen this anywhere noted, but on his Twitter over the weekend, he sprained his ankle at a live WWE event. And Chavo wrote this on there. He says, a little bit of tape and a lot of Advil, my ankle will be fine. Says, strong like a bull, thanks for your concerns, but you can't hurt steel. And he says, LOL. Tonight will be the first episode, by the way, the season 1 of WWE NXT program, which could be the only season, so tape every bit of it, because if it don't work out good, I think NFL, what was it called? XFL, yeah. Didn't last too long either. If you got any tapes of that, you might want to hang on to those too. Anyway, each season reportedly going to be 4 months long, giving us about 3 seasons per year. And it's been confirmed that the rookies and pros will interact with each other on the show. And I hope it ain't going to be no love fest. We like to see some wrestling. Mick Foley, by the way, his next book titled Countdown to Lockdown is finished and it'll be published later this year. And as noted before, Orlando Jordan, his new male valet is a friend of him outside of TNA, by the way, and his new female valet is an independent women's wrestler, Santana G. The angle with the two valets came as a thing Jordan pitched to WWE before he was released years ago, with the idea of Trinity would have been the female, and another male friend outside of WWE would have played the male role then. He probably had somebody else then, other than the guy he has now, the slut. TNA has no live events scheduled till after the live Impact on March 8th in order to give the crew a chance to rest up and get ready for the big night. One of the reasons Kaz no longer Planet Suicide, by the way, before you ask me, it's been returned as, well, anyway, he's returned to his previous gimmick, which I don't know what the gimmick was other than just being Kaz. Anyway, because of Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff felt he shouldn't be wrestling under a mask because of his looks and facial expressions, which you could just change mask, happy face and smiley face. But again, anyway, this is the weird deal here too. The Turtle Company, Incorporated, has filed a lawsuit against WWE and ABC Corp 1 to 10 Incorporated over children's text covers. The lawsuit alleges that WWE textbook covers features photos of DX, Rey Mysterio, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Edge, CM Punk, John Cena infringed upon and violated the Turtles' patent on adjustable book jackets and their method of making these jackets. Well, I wouldn't stand for that either. I don't want anybody having my jacket. The lawsuit asks that the production of the covers stop. Of course, if you got any of those books, hang on to them because they're going to be pulling them off the market, I guess. And that WWE and ABC Corporation account for all damages made to the Turtle, and that Turtle be awarded the maximum rate allowable under law for the damages that their lawyers' fees, had to be covered. Turtle is asking for a jury trial to settle the matter. WWE and ABC Corporation have responded to the lawsuit, or have to respond to it by March 13th. And we can't have the Turtle going out of business. Last night's Raw, by the way, Jewel said on the show that she was on crutches because she hurt herself riding the bull. Well, like the other divas did, in Big Show. But actually, she hurt her ankle during riding her bike a week ago. She noted that on her Twitter account how her hand hurt after slapping Jillian Hall, though, at the backstage segment. So I don't know what you do with put your hand in a cast, I guess. Several WWE stars and divas wrote on their Twitter account last night about how hard to slap to Jillian's face looked. And Jillian herself wrote on her Twitter account, "Jewel slaps hard." Dark match before Raw, by the way, in Indianapolis saw Vladimir Kozlov win a squash match against local wrestler Cyrus Young. William Regal and Jack Swagger versus Chris Master and Santino Marella, as well as Primo versus Zack Ryder, was taped before Raw for this week's Superstar show. This year's Money in the Bank at WrestleMania will feature 8 superstars. Christian's the only one that's been named so far. Below is a card date for WWE WrestleMania 26 pay-per-views. We got Batista versus Cena. Is still questionable after the ending last night, but so far we got Edge taking on Jericho, Cena versus Batista, Taker versus Michaels, Christian versus opponent to be determined. WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart will be on the next week's Raw in Oklahoma for a farewell. At least that's what Vince told us. Next week's host will be Cheech and Chong, which too bad RVD and well, we got MVP still there, and a couple other guys, maybe Sabu. Maybe they're going to be backstage and having partying with Cheech and Chong. Randy Orton versus Ted DiBiase has been announced for next week's Raw. Dark main event, by the way, on Raw in Indianapolis saw Triple H team with Edge to defeat the team of Batista and Jericho. I'm just about out of time. When Raw went off the air, Triple H came out, challenged Batista to a match. Batista came out. And then came Jericho, and they did a little promo, and went on from there. Hey, I'm about out of time. Thanks for checking in and clicking. And if I find out anything else and somebody did something stupid again, I'll be back on here. I gotta go.